Wait, so are you landscaping by yourself, or are you talking snow removal still? Like
But yeah,
wintertime, just me.
everything. The last couple years, I had the year I went through my divorce, which was 5 years ago at this point. That was the guy that was working for me for a couple years was moving on to something else, and I was like, all right, shit. So I scrambled for a couple years trying to find and keep somebody, and it just never worked out. And then the guy came back and worked for me again, and basically just ghosted me. Towards the his last week, he just called me up and said, "Yeah, I'm not coming in anymore." And I was like, "All right,
Wow.
yeah." And you get a lot of that. I'm the type of person where I don't like to rely on anybody else, for anything. And being in business, you had to do that. And I was just getting sick of it. I'm like, you know what? I know when I'm going to be there. I'll be there on time every day. Um, so I just kind of reduced my workload and did the jobs that I could. So
I mean, I was gonna say, being a landscaper, some of those things are like a couple 100 pounds, and like with two guys, you could do it. But so, like, what do you just have? Like, you just use like equipment to move,
yeah,
like, let's say, landscape rock, I guess, and then like
yes,
just wrestle it all on your own.
yeah. So if there was like extensive digging that needed to be done or heavy materials that needed to be moved, I mean, other than like dirt and mulch and some crushed stone or decorative stone. If it was like big boulders, yeah, I'm renting a machine and that's getting put into the price and everything. So when I was younger, I would bull stuff around by myself, but now that I'm over 40, I'm like, you know what? I put my time in. You know what? I'll put an extra 300, $400 on the job for equipment rental, make
Mm-hmm.
my life easier. I'll get it done faster and not going to kill myself. So,
Sure. Yeah,
and
I suppose when you have to work by yourself, you just figure out a way to work by yourself. Like, people don't, a lot of people don't understand. Like, they'll, people go do a job or whatever, and the homeowner will, like, open the door for me, or they'll try to, I don't know, I'll have my hands full of stuff and the door's
uh-huh.
shut, and like, oh, I'll get the door for you, and I'm like, I got it. They're like, what? I'm like, you just figured out how to do it on your own. Like,
Yeah,
just, I don't know,
yeah, and
just figure out a way.
even when I had guys working for me, it was like, I mean, obviously it's much easier to, have two guys moving something around, but there wasn't really anything that I couldn't do by myself. I would, you know, either muscle it along or be, think on my feet and design some sort of way in my head how am I going to move this, 1,000-pound rock 30 feet over to where it needs to go. I'm by myself. I don't have a machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I would use like they're tree buggies, they call them in my industry. So it's like a big wall cart. So like when you transplant a tree, you have the big root ball.
Yep.
Yeah, so like they're designed to like go underneath of the root balls of trees and wheel them. It's basically
Weird.
like a tree dolly, I guess you would say. Um, so but they can handle 1,000, 1,500 pounds. Now the problem is trying to get it on there and then like pry it up, with leverage, so you're pulling it like a cart behind you.
Right.
But I use straps and stuff like that and figured out a way to move stuff like that by myself. So it's not
Dang.
it's not pleasurable, but it can be done. So I would have guys that would work for me were like, "Oh, that's too heavy. I can't do that." I'm like, "Yeah, come on now. Like, I guarantee you it's not impossible. You can do that. I know you can because I've done it myself 100 times."
Right.
you
This is
know.
a test, and you failed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I was always I don't know if I was a good teacher in the sense of trying to tell somebody what to do, but I would always tell anybody that worked for me, just watch what I do. Watch the things that I do. I may not be able to verbalize how to do this or articulate it well enough that you'll understand it, but just watch how I do it, and develop your own way and process of doing something like that. So, but most people are too lazy to kind of go down that path. They'd rather you just tell them what to do, and if it's not something you told them to do, they automatically think they can't do it.
Right.